Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next-gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome here as we get set for race number 32 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series, elimination race number 2. We started out the playoffs with 16 drivers battling it out for the championship. At the conclusion of tonight's race, we will have cut the field in half with another 4 eliminations from 12 down to our Elite 8. I'm Seth Cole, and tonight these drivers are getting set for 81 circuits around this mile-and-a-half racetrack that has been a mainstay as the second elimination race ever since season number 1. We have never had this particular racetrack play a part really into who the eventual champion is going to be. This has been one of those races where it kind of seems like the playoff contenders have to make their way into the round of 8 via points, not via a race win. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe a playoff driver that's either maybe right around the cut line or just below the cut line will be able to break that chain that we've had for 5 straight seasons and actually utilize this race as a springboard to be able to get into the next round. We ended up seeing in our last elimination race at Nashville Superspeedway, RJ Bishop went to victory lane, locked himself into the next round, and carried 5 bonus points into the next round as well. Will we see something like that here tonight? Only time will tell. Let's take a look at those playoff standings coming into tonight. Only one driver we know for absolute certainty is going to be moving on into the Elite 8, and that was our winner from Lime Rock last week, Michael Norman, which, by the way, with that victory, that was Michael's 6th career victory in the Duracell Cup Series, ties him for 4th on the all-time wins list, so congratulations to him. You see here the drivers like Kyle Matthews and Charles Sanford, pretty good cushion that they've got, 31 and 21 points respectively over that cut line. So odds pretty likely that the two S3 Motorsports cars that made their way into the postseason will advance into the next round, the round of 8. But then it gets really interesting. Only 9 points up is RJ Bishop, only 7 points up Mitchell Collins. And look at this group of 4. Dunnard, Batson, both +1. Bolin, the cut line driver, and Quentin Moore only 2 points back. That, folks, is 4 point separation from Batson down to Moore. That is a lot of area where things can change during the course of this race of drivers either moving in or falling out. Laura Chung is still within striking distance there, 8 points behind the cut line. Nick Gunther's 15 points back, the only 4-time winner here on the season, only 4-time winner we've ever had in a single season in Duracell Cup Series history. He could point his way in. It's still possible. 15 points is definitely doable, especially if Batson and Dunnard and Bolin have some tough nights here tonight. Even Mitchell Collins, he can mathematically pass Mitchell Collins in points here this evening. Ali Liera is going to be the interesting one. Not quite in the same situation that Ryan Butcher was heading into that Nashville Superspeedway elimination race where we said basically it was a must-win for the 78 car. Ali Liera being -21. The saving grace for her right now is the fact that Batson, Dunnard, Bolin, and Moore are so close together. There is a possibility that if 1 or 2 of those drivers have an issue tonight, Ali Liera can capitalize. Being only 21 points back is not necessarily in a must-win situation, but if those 4 drivers there, Batson down through Moore, end up being up inside of the top 10, top 15 all night long, then Ali Liera, the focus definitely shifts from being able to point into more than likely a must-win situation. But we'll keep track of all that during the course of this race. On the pole position for this one is going to be Daniel Voiles. Of course, Voiles a couple of weeks ago picking up his second win of his career, joining the likes of Nick Gunther, Destin Boland, Keith Batson, Mitchell Collins, RJ Bishop, and now Michael Norman as a multi-time winner here this year. Going to be alongside another former winner from this season, Will Hoer, who was eliminated back in the first round of the playoffs. Will is looking for his second win of the season, second win of his career. Still running very well points-wise, has been very consistent this year. He is trying to just finish out the season with as many checkered flags as he can possibly muster. Then behind them in row 2, you got a couple of drivers. They're still looking for their first victory. Rob Evans in 65, going to line up in the 3rd position, and Benjamin Snyder, rookie out of Lake Effect Autosport, he is going to line up on the outside of row number 2 in the 4th position. And then you've got Rick Johnson, who was, much like Will Hoer, former winner this season, eliminated from the playoffs in the first round. He is going to complete the top 5 for tonight's starting lineup. Destin Boland for the second straight week is going to be the highest starting playoff contender. He started up inside of the top 10. I think it was 6th or 7th last week at Lime Rock. He's going to start 8th place here tonight alongside of his Young Motorsports teammate Dylan Young. Ali Liera just kitty corner there. The other driver that's a playoff contender inside the top 10, going to roll off from P9. But it's time to go down trackside, time to get those most famous words in motorsports here in Arizona.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pace car going to lead the 42 field off of pit lane, off the grid. Right side of your screen, you'll see your starting lineup. The 12 drivers highlighted in yellow are the playoff contenders that we will keep an eye on here tonight. We have only two former winners in the field here this evening. Jose Mills, who won this event back in Season 2. Carson Gum, who took the checker flag here in Season 4. Chevrolet has 3 victories here at Arizona Speedway. Ford has 1. And Dave Campos last year got Toyota its only victory at Arizona Speedway, driving the number 8 for Haas Racing, which that eventually moved the number 8 team into the round of 8 with Dave Campos, Matt Haas, and Pierce Crone. Now Michael Norman's the only driver we know that's locked into the Elite 8. 7 drivers at the conclusion of tonight will join him. Who will they be? A couple of Ford Mustangs will lead us down here as Daniel Voiles, getting his first career pole this season, is going to lead us to his first green flag of Season 6. We're underway at Arizona Speedway. Inside line's going to probably be the preferred line all night long. Be interesting to see how anxious these drivers will be to maybe force the issue 3 wide. Will we stay double wide? Can we get ourselves into a long green flag run? Maybe see pit road come into play. We've seen that in the past here. Yeah, so who's going to lead the first lap? It's going to be close, and ooh, I don't know. Scoring's got to tell me who won that one. Looks like they're saying Daniel Voiles, but I don't know by how much. Man, oh man, that was close between himself and Will Hoer. Scoring doesn't even know. Scoring doesn't even know. It just gave me 0.000. I think you're going to see that on the top of your screen here in just a moment. Man. So it went down to the 10,000ths, apparently, in terms of the interval. Benjamin Snyder now in control of the race lead, looking to join the long list of rookies that have picked up victories here this season, including Zachary Fitzwater and Destin Boland, Laura Chung, Jack Dunnard, Will Hoer, Quentin Moore, Caleb Fogler, Rick Johnson, all those drivers donning the rookie stripes this year and have all found victory lane. Dylan Pote now moving into second. Dylan Young slots to third as Will Hoer begins to free fall there on that top line. Benjamin Miles now looking to the inside of Dylan Young for third place. There's Ryan Butcher, and now looks like the highest running playoff driver at this moment is going to be Quentin Moore. He got around Destin Boland, who looks 3 wide. Going into 3, thinks better of it, tucks back in line. Quentin Moore was, if I recall correctly, the cut line driver in our last elimination race at Nashville Superspeedway. Had a top 10 run, if I recall, and secured himself a spot into the round of 12, coming into this race in a somewhat equally dire situation, right around that cut line, 2 points below in the 9th position, and trying to find consistency again in another elimination race. Destin Bolin just got around Quentin Moore for 6th. The cut line driver, the benchmark for all those either just ahead or behind coming into this race. A couple of the drivers that were around that cut line didn't get the benefit of good qualifying position here tonight. Keith Batson started back in 27th, RJ Bishop in 28th, Nick Gunther was back in 24th. Keep an eye on those drivers here, see if they make forward progress through the field. Things do get somewhat spread out here usually at Arizona, as you can clearly see right there on the front straightaway. Little pockets of packs of cars. So it makes passing on the long run a little bit more difficult. You have to have patience and you have to have a good long run car, as Ryan Butcher just made the pass around Benjamin Miles for 3rd place, move him up into the podium. Destin Bolin, Quentin Moore looking to take advantage. You saw the 25 when he got kicked up the second groove. Had to kind of bail out of the throttle through the center of the corner. That loss of momentum. There's going to be drivers that are willing to capitalize on that misfortune. Reggie Fogelman, William Hoer. There's your 2 cars that started on the front row, the 83 and the 26, trying to march their way back up through the top 10. Hoer in 8th, Boyles in 9th, and right now completing the top 10 is Charles Sanford. Coming into this race had the 21-point cushion back between himself and 8th in the standings. Just needs a solid run here today. I believe for Charles, he needs to just finish inside of the top 20, and he would be locked into the next round. Kyle Matthews just needs to finish inside of the top 30, and he's locked in. And didn't we mention that Keith Batson didn't have good qualifying effort, 27th? Well, it's only taken him 9 laps, and he is up almost inside the top 10. Last time by, scored in 11th place. One of our former winners right there. 13th place battle, Jose Mills on the inside of Reese Banks. Mills, the only double-digit winner in Duracell Cup Series so far, 10 victories. One of them here at Arizona Speedway back in Season 2. Trying to find, there's Ali Liera. Started 9th and has dropped back 9 spots as the caution's out. First caution of the evening. And we had a lead change. Benjamin Snyder got passed by Ryan Butcher, and Butcher's going to lead us back here to the first yellow of the day. So an opportunity for drivers that, after things got spaced out, had lost touch maybe with this lead group, for everybody to bunch back up. Saw some skid marks there through 1 and 2. Saw a pair of skid marks, so I'm assuming a multi-car incident. And it looks like we might have had 2 playoff drivers involved. And there is one of them, RJ Bishop. The other driver I'm looking at might be Mitchell Collins. Don't see any damage there on the left side. If we could get a camera shot on the right side of the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang, might be able to see if that was the other driver that the other pair of skid marks belong to. It's hard to tell. Looks like there is some scuff mark on maybe the right side of that Ford. RJ gonna try and get that machine repaired. Got to get out there. RJ was 9 points above the cut line, 4th in points. Mitchell Collins was 7 points above the cut line, 5th in points. Coming into this one. Crucial positioning in the standings. Do not want to throw away an opportunity of moving on to the round of 8. Couple of 2-time winners here, possibly bringing out the first caution of the day. Let's go back and see if we can find what happened here. Like Collins was able to drive away from whatever the incident was. RJ Bishop had to come down a closed pit road, and here is a look at it. This was back around the 30th spot, it looks like. 3 wide. Samuel Ryder on the bottom, Bishop in the middle, Collins on the top, and looks like Bishop pushed up. Got into Rob Evans. And then Mitchell Collins as well, getting sandwiched between RJ Bishop and the outside wall. Some pretty good damage there on the 98. Don't know if it's necessarily enough to take him out of the race, but he will have some aero damage. He hit with the front end into the outside wall. Here's another look at it. Watch how the 98 pushes up the track. Right there. A little bit concerned about the right side damage on Rob Evans, 65. And RJ drives away from the incident, so not certain about the full extent of the damage sustained by both Mitchell Collins and Rob Evans. RJ Bishop, we know, had to come down a closed pit road to get damage repaired, and he has returned to the track, albeit when the leaders came down pit road and he left, he still got stuck behind the pace car. That means that he's going to be restarting on the tail end of the lead lap ahead of race leader Ryan Butcher. How up to speed that 98 car is, I think we're going to be finding out very quickly, as will the drivers up here at the front of the field. RJ Bishop does not have to be on the inside line, since when we get the lights out at 1 to green, he is scored on the tail end of the lead lap, not 1 lap down. So the battle off pit road was won by Ryan Butcher. Benjamin Miles was second, Quentin Moore third, Will Hauer fourth, and Reggie Fogelman came out in the 5th position. It's like Destin Bolin, Dylan Pote, Charles Sanford, Keith Batson, and Jose Mills are going to be the top 10. When we go back green, that's 4 playoff drivers right there, up inside of the top 10. In Moore, Bolin, Sanford, and Batson. Let's see what the other playoff drivers are going to be restarting. Al Oliveira will be back in 15th, Kyle Matthews 18th, Michael Norman 19th. Got to go a long ways down to find Jack Donard in 26th, Laura Chung in 29th. Nick Gunther's way down there in 38th place. And Mitchell Collins is 40th with RJ Bishop 42nd, last car on the lead lap, and going to be starting here ahead of the race leader. Lap 15 will go on the board of this long 81 lap event once the leader hits the start finish line. Next week we begin the round of 8. Things will kick off at Boston International Speedway. That racetrack, multi-groove, bit of a tire killer. Kind of reminds me of kind of a cross between Dover and Rockingham. Some high banks there in the corners, but definitely you have to have a long run car. You have to be very good at preserving your good years. We don't normally get a whole lot of cautions there at Boston, but when we do, they're usually big wrecks. If you remember back a couple of weeks ago when we were at Hillside, that big wreck that took place, yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Green flag set to fly over the hood of Ryan Butcher. Ryan, of course, eliminated in the last elimination race at Nashville Super Speedway. He's still looking, though, to join the half dozen or so drivers that have gone to victory multiple times this season. Ryan Butcher's actually tied for 3rd overall in most wins in Duracell Cup Series with Carson Gum. They have 7 Duracell Cup Series wins apiece. And trying as well, it's for back-to-back wins for Toyota here at Arizona Speedway off of Dave Campus's win in Season 5. Looks like they made very, very quick work of RJ Bishop. Put him back in the rearview mirror. A couple of drivers back there having some difficulty getting around the 98s. That's going to spread this field out a little bit quicker than usual. Reggie Fogelman going to give up the 3rd spot to Destin Bolin. And did I just see the caution lights on again? Yes, I did. Yellow flag, 2nd time here tonight. Well, we ran almost 10 laps under green, and now in the last 3 or 4 laps, we've got our 2nd caution waving. Who was all involved in this one? And I'm wondering if it might have had something to do with that RJ Bishop machine. He definitely looked like he was slow. The leaders made very quick work of him when they got around him that last time. And, ooh, I think we got a big one. Seeing a lot of drivers low on the scoring pile on. Samuel Ryder, the rookie out of KB Racing Enterprises. He's had a good couple of weeks, but not tonight. Engine has gone south in the McDonald's Ford. Jesse Turner's on pit road. Ryan Brommer's on pit road. Kyle Matthews, who came into this race with that nice little buffer of 31 points. Can be very glad that he had that, as he's got some rear end damage. And another driver I saw that was low on the pylon was Nick Gunther. Trying to find the 55. Gunther's out. Gunther's out of the race. He was in the wreck, and he's already out of the race in the garage area. So it looks like the four-time winner, the regular season champion, will not be advancing into the round of 8. As Ryan Butcher was really the only driver to stay out. That everybody kind of caught him off guard. We'll follow up that in just a moment, but oh man. Nick Gunther, that Mazda project out of Fortnite Squad Racing, already with a DNF, and came into this race 15 points behind the cut line. Needed a good run here tonight and is not going to get it. Let's take a look at what happened. Where in the world does this actually start? Oh, it looked like they tried 3 wide again. It didn't work the first time for RJ Bishop. This time it's not going to work for Brommer, Turner, and Ryder. Watch left side of your screen. Turner gets a big run on the 87. Oh, they were held up behind the 98 of RJ Bishop, you see there. That's what forced the 3 wide, and then, oh man, wow. Turner up and over. There's the shot. Nick Gunther into Samuel Ryder. Looked like a couple of other drivers got bits and pieces there. Austin LaPlante was one of them. Turner's car comes to rest on all 4 wheels, fortunately, after he was up and over and went for a couple of barrel rolls. Let's watch this one again. Focused on the 47. Bam! And then watch this. Rides the safer barrier. Gets to the lower banking off of turn 2 and begins to barrel roll end over end about 3 or 4 times. Let's go from the Ryan Brommer car. Yeah, Kyle got into RJ, and then Samuel comes up into Jesse Turner, and just nowhere for Ryan Brommer to go. Looks like nobody hit him, but he wasn't even able to get his car refired after the impact. And now, let's show how difficult it is to be able to make your way through a wreck when it takes place in a corner. Nick Gunther was nowhere near where this wreck was. He was back around the 38th position, but watch how the track just closes up for him when I believe it's RJ Bishop's 98. Or no, actually, I think it was Samuel Ryder's 63 comes down in front of him. Oh, you heard him nail the throttle. He thought they were all going to stay up. In the last minute, the 63 comes back down the track. No way you could predict that. Cody Lamas and Austin LaPlante were the 2 cars that got Nick Gunther as well, so they can be added to the list of drivers that got a piece of this incident. The second caution of the night here at Arizona Speedway, and tough break there for Nick Gunther. That Project Mazda out of Fortnite Squad Racing, 4-time winner. He will not, it is official, be advancing into the next round of the playoffs. Samuel Ryder, Ryan Brommer, Jesse Turner also back in the garage area, and RJ Bishop also has retired from the race. He will finish dead last, had only 9 points between himself and the cut line coming in. So RJ Bishop might be the driver that could be the make it or break it for others below the cut line, whether they're going to be into the round of 8 or not. Right now, does not have to worry about Nick Gunther with the DNF, but Quentin Moore is going to restart 3rd place. Was only 2 points behind the cut line coming into tonight. He's right behind Ryan Butcher and Will Hoer. just in front of Reese Banks and Destin Bolin. That's your top 5, followed by Mills, Fogelman, Miles, Dollerton, and Batson, the top 10. 37 drivers remain, all 37 on the lead lap. Green flag flies once more. 60 laps to go here under the lights at Arizona Speedway. Destin Bolin getting caught out there by Reese Banks. He's going to get freight trained on that top side. Mills, Fogelman, now Benjamin Miles trying to take advantage. Will Hoer, I don't know if he just took the air off the spoiler, if there was a little bump right there going into 3, but he's going to move on by Ryan Butcher for the race lead, looking to lead his first lap here tonight. So far, Ryan Butcher's led 12 laps, 6 laps led by Benjamin Snyder, and then 1 lap led apiece by Dylan Poteet, Daniel Voiles, and now the 83 of Will Hoer as Butcher starts to fade back, potentially outside of the top 5. Quentin Moore moving up into second. Right now, Quentin Moore would be the driver that would take advantage of, wait a minute, Moore's coming to pit road. I was going to say he'd be the driver to take advantage of RJ Bishop's DNF, but now on pit lane, and this does not look like it's scheduled. He's going to lose a lap at least here, and oh boy, he might get a caution though, because we're 3 wide. Several rows deep. They made it through 1 and 2. Benjamin Miles, Jessica Shelton, Reggie Fogelman, Chris Dollerton, Jack Dunner. You got 3 of the Northeast Motorsports cars in this 3 wide formation, 2 3 rows deep. Can they make it work? Well, they've settled out one of the 3 wide formations. Dollerton's still in the middle. Oh, they're going to push up into each other. Ooh, Dollerton and Miles got together, but they saved it. Now Miles with a loss of momentum and Dollerton get put 3 wide again. I don't think we're done with cautions. Can they get this settled out? We're back down to 1 formation of 3 wide. If Dollerton can kind of tuck in behind Ryan Butcher, we might be safe. Oh, I think they got it settled out. 3 wide a little further back there with Jose Mills, Joshua Osborne, and Dylan Poteet, though. Just a matter of giving room. Carson Gum has now marched his way into the top 10 for the first time tonight. Former winner here from Arizona back in season 4. Trying to make his way around Levi McIntyre as playoff rookies Destin Bolin and Jack Donard. They're duking it out for, that'd be, I believe, the 6th position. Yes, indeed it is. Give it to Bolin for the moment. As Will Hoer beginning to pull away. It's all Fords up inside of the top 4, and then the Chevrolet of Jessica Shelton in 5th. As Keith Batson, right now the highest running playoff driver, was 1 point to the good above the cut line, and right now sitting pretty inside of the top 5, looking to advance his way into the round of 8 for what I think would be the first time in his Duracell Cup Series career. I know he was in the playoffs back, I think it was season 4, but I think he got eliminated in the round of 12. Dylan Young for second, trying to join his Young Motorsports teammates. Young Motorsports has 5 victories this year, 2 with RJ Bishop, 3 with Destin Bolin. Dylan Young, the team owner, is the odd man out. He's yet to find victory lane, maybe tonight. As Shelton now utilizing the draft there, right on the left rear quarter panel, pulling Dylan Young back, and she's going to move into second place. S3 Motorsports has 2 victories this season with Matthews and Sanford. Shelton and Deaver are the 2 that have yet to win for the team this year. Destin Bolin has reeled in his teammate Dylan Young, and he'll look to move back into the top 5. Jack Dunner just behind there in the 88. So right now, looks like Batson, Dunnard, and Bolin doing exactly what they needed to do to stay above the cut line. Nick Gunther we know is out of the race. RJ Bishop we know is out of the race. Quentin Moore was up here, but he has faded. Where is the 89 now? Well, that's right, he made that pit stop, that unscheduled pit stop, and they're scoring him 1 lap down. not mentioned Laura Chung's name hardly at all tonight. Where's the 77? There she is, back in 24th, and just up ahead is Ali Liera in 23rd. And those are two drivers that are trying to take advantage potentially of the RJ Bishop DNF, and Mitchell Collins right now is running last car on the lead lap back in 36th. And Collins was 7 points ahead of the cut line. Let's see if the 33 is off the pace. Oh yeah, definitely. Rob Evans looks to be off the pace as well. There's Kyle Matthews. That's 34th back to 36th with Matthews, Evans, and Collins. Quentin Moore, a lap down, and we got a wreck. Caution's out. No yellow yet. Now the yellow flag is out because of oncoming traffic, and one of them was Ali Liera. Joshua Osborne was the other. We caught the very tail end of that wreck as Will Howard brings us back to the caution. And just like that, Ali Liera, who needed at least a top 15 run, if not a top 10, to point her way into the round of 8. Looks like she wasn't even able to fire that car up from the scene of the accident. Had to call the tow, and that may be her advancement into the round of 8 in the playoffs done. Joshua Osborne there as well, the Pocono winner. Both drivers former winners this season, and looks like they may be done for the day. Pit road's open. Will Howard kind of playing like he's not going to come down pit road. Now he makes the left-hand turn, and everyone is going to follow him down. Third caution of the day. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. It's getting very easy to figure out who's advancing, who is not, at least at this point in time. Oh, we had ourselves another flip. Watch this one. This one doesn't even look like it's going to be a wreck. It's a normal double wide formation into the corner, and Ali continued to migrate up, and then, oh man, wow. I don't know if the right front part of the splitter just caught the catch fence there. Looked like it was definitely above the safer barrier. But both cars just kind of came to a stop. There was no slide, which normally takes place with a wreck. They just both came to a direct stop. Take a look at this again. Right there, and then bam! They just both come to a direct stop, which was probably very beneficial to all the drivers that were passing them low, because then they didn't have to worry about the self-cleaning racetrack, the banking there, bringing them down into their path. See if somebody can give us a good look at what just happened there. Let's see if Benjamin Miles, the Marriott Chevrolet Camaro, can show us what went down there in turn 1. Right there, how they both just kind of stopped. Laura Chung, the 77, was right there. If she had been collected, that would have more than likely been her out of advancing into the round of 8, but she just narrowly skated on by. Well, Quentin Moore did not get back on the lead lap when that caution flew, and hold up, we're going to actually go back and look at another replay before we come back to live. I'm just now seeing the 48 of Austin LaPlante has retired out of the race. What happened to him? We had a stack up coming onto pit road. LaPlante just didn't pay attention, ran to the back of Cody Lamas. And Kyle Matthews got a piece there, as did Rob Evans. They all started slowing coming onto pit lane, and drivers that were a little bit further back were not paying attention to what was going on, and because of that front end damage, it looks like LaPlante is out. I'm also being told, and we'll look at this courtesy of the actually split cam, but I'm also being told the 19 of Carson Gum is out of the race. A suspension failure on that Fortnite Squad Racing Chevrolet Camaro, former winner here. See if we can find that with the entry split cam for you guys to be able to see, as we should get the 1 to green this time. Will Howard Won the battle off pit road, came in the leader, came out the leader. Shelton second, Batson, Bolin, and Banks. That's going to be the top 5. Chris Dollerton is up in 6th, Jose Mills 7th. Then Reggie Fogelman, Jack Dunnard, Michael Norman, the top 10. Of course, Michael Norman going to be carrying 5 bonus points into the round of 8 with his victory last week at Lime Rock. Would like to win again here tonight. Add another 5 bonus points to that total. Improve his chances of advancing into the Final 4, which would be for the first time in his Duracell Cup Series career. Quentin Moore mentioned that caution did not help him to get back on the lead lap, so he will line up on the inside 1 lap down here in 33rd position. So the official list of drivers out of the race at this point of time: Austin LaPlante, Carson Gum, Ali Liera, Joshua Osborne, Samuel Ryder, Ryan Brommer, Jesse Turner, Nick Gunther, RJ Bishop. We know that Ali Liera and Nick Gunther, officially because of the DNFs, they will not be advancing into the round of 8. Jury is still out on RJ Bishop. His fate right now almost rests in the hands of Quentin Moore and Laura Chung. Quentin 1 lap down in 33rd. Laura Chung back in 22nd place. Green flag back in the air. Quentin was 11 points behind RJ coming into tonight, and Laura Chung was 17 points back. So we'll be trying to work the calculators, figure out if RJ is still safe, if 9 points was enough of a cushion for him to advance into the round of 8 or not. Battle potentially for the lead here. Remember, the 89 is a lap down, trying to get his lap back. Will Hoer going to swing around the outside. Looks like maybe that 89 might, well, no, I was going to say might have been down a cylinder, but holding tough there on the bottom is Quentin Moore. Keith Batson going to jump up behind the 83. I thought he was going to try and take advantage of that low line to move by Hoer for the top spot, but then jumped up into the second groove. Now Destin Bolin is going to take the inside line, and he will move to the front. We had RJ Bishop win the elimination race at Nashville Superspeedway. Destin Bolin trying to make it back-to-back elimination races where a playoff driver wins to advance. And Quentin Moore mentioned how he rose to the occasion as the cut line driver at Nashville. Destin Bolin's the cut line driver coming into this race, and he is definitely rising to the occasion. Now out in front, leading here at Arizona. Dollerton moving into second. Chris Dollerton almost at Auto Club, pulling off the last-minute victory to get himself into the top 30 in points and clinch a playoff position, but the Daytona 500 winner coming up just short. He also looked like he was going to pick up his second win of the season back at Hillside, but ended up catching his teammate Rick Johnson. Got held up, and Daniel Voiles took advantage to pick up his second win on the year, second win of his career. So Dollerton might be looking for a little Hillside redemption here today as he draws alongside of Destin Bolin for the top position. Jose Mills battling with Benjamin Snyder for third, and there's Charles Sanford now up into the top 5 in the 5th position. Right now, Charles Sanford with the DNFs of Nick Gunther and Ali Liera looking very good to advance into the round of 8. As we're 3 wide back here. Keith Batson, Dylan Young, Dylan Poteet for the moment. Poteet backs out of that off of turn 4. Michael Norman, last week's winner from Lime Rock. Nothing to lose coming into this race. He knows he's locked into the next round of the playoffs, so trying to be aggressive, work his way up here to the front and maybe pick up his 3rd win on the season. That would give Michael Norman Motorsports 7 wins overall. Norman has 2, Collins has 2, Rick Johnson and Chris Dollerton 1 apiece. Ryan Butcher marching his way back up to the front. Saw him lead 12 laps of this race. Kind of faded back after he got kicked to the outside line. Almost fell outside of the top 10. Just worked his way around Reese Banks. That was for 6th. And now Jose Mills, the only driver in the field now, formerly a winner here after Carson Gum's early retirement. makes his way around. He'll move up into the 6th position with Keith Batson following in tow in 7th. Destin Bolin is not letting Chris Dollerton get away. That rookie Benjamin Snyder trying to get a whiff of draft and make it a 3-man fight for the top position. Benjamin Snyder had a great run last week at Lime Rock. Jumped up 6 spots in the standings as a result. It's been a good rookie campaign for Benjamin Snyder. It's been, it was a slow start. Very slow start for both of the rookies out of Lake Effect Autosport. Reese Banks still struggling. Whoa, contact. Snyder was looking low on Dollerton and Sanford was there. Sanford backs out of it. But Reese Banks so far this season, only 1 top 5, 2 finishes inside the top 10. Benjamin Snyder, though, doing better. 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s for him. And their team owner, Jesse Turner, he's highest of the 3 team cars in points, though his statistics are not quite as good as Benjamin Snyder's, actually. 3 top 5s and 8 top 10s, but 25th in overall points is Jesse Turner, as caution's out. We've already crossed the halfway threshold of this race, and the 4th yellow flag of the day is flying here at Arizona. Destin Bolin going to lead us back here to the caution. Over Benjamin Snyder, Ryan Butcher, and who won that battle back for 4th place between Sanford and Dollerton? Looks like they're giving it to Dollerton. Sanford will be 5th. Potentially Benjamin Miles might have been the reason for this caution. Ooh, some damage also on the 70 of James Qualls. So caution out, pit road's open. Let's drop back, take a look at a replay of what brought out this most recent yellow flag. I'm gonna hazard a guess, maybe 3 wide, though the last incident with Osborne and Aliliera was not 3 wide. Yep, this was 3 wide. Laura Chung on the bottom. Though she didn't have much to do with it. It was actually Levi McIntyre sliding up and crowding Benjamin Miles up into James Qualls. Granted, Chung was on the inside of the 3 wide formation, but she didn't make any contact. James Qualls front end damage after he got sandwiched up there. Courtesy of the 25. Watch this again. Watch the 99, left side of your screen. Right there. Yeah, McIntyre drifts up. Gets into the left front of Benjamin Miles, who then gets hooked in the right rear by James Qualls. So caution out for the 4th time here tonight. Pit road open. Looks like most everybody decided to come down pit lane. Quentin Moore, the lap car, going to pit the next time by. Hopefully this time we didn't have anybody stack up coming onto pit road and get damage. Doesn't look like it. Looks like everybody's leaving pit lane. I'm not seeing anybody on my scoring out of the race. James Qualls still sitting on pit road. There's the 25 just now leaving. Now Qualls leaving. And Quentin Moore will come down this 2nd time since he is a lap down machine. If you're Quentin Moore, you want to see drivers out of the race because you need every position. You need every point. Getting stuck a lap down, he's basically on the reliance of other drivers having issues. Because it didn't look like, at least on the last restart, he's got a car strong enough to get past the race leader and keep the leader at bay long enough to get a caution and then get back on the lead lap. And as we get closer towards the end of this race as well, if he continues to stay a lap down, we'll get to the point of 10 laps to go. If a caution comes out at that point and we get a restart, the lap cars, they merge in single file with the lead lap cars. They don't get the benefit of moving back up to the front on that inside line. So Quentin's got to make something happen now, or else his fate is going to be determined by others as to whether he's moving on to the next round of the playoffs or not. Destin Bolin, though, trying to make sure that he's going to advance into the next round of the playoffs. He continues to show the way. Most laps led today have been 16 by Will Howard, 12 laps led by Ryan Butcher. And right now, third highest would be Destin Bolin. This next time by, he will lead his 8th lap of the night. 33 drivers still running, 32 of them on the lead lap at this point in time. If you're just joining us, we're working our 4th yellow flag of the day. We currently have 9 drivers back in the garage area, 2 of them playoff contenders that were below the cut line, Nick Gunther and Ali Liera, so they are officially not going to be moving on to the round of 8. The jury is still out on RJ Bishop, who is also out of the race, scored dead last here this evening. He was 9 points ahead of the cut line coming into this race, 4th overall in the playoff points. His fate is still yet to be determined, really based off of the final finisher results of Quentin Moore, Laura Chung, Destin Bolin, Jack Dunnard, Keith Batson, and Mitchell Collins. Bolin's the race leader. Batson is 5th. Jack Dunnard is 23rd. Laura Chung is 21st. And you see Quentin Moore on the inside line there in 33rd. Mitchell Collins is 29th. Now for RJ and Quentin, let's try and figure this one out real quickly as we get ready to go back green. RJ was 11 points ahead of Quentin Moore. He needs Quentin to finish no better than 31st. And right now Quentin is in 33rd, so Quentin needs a couple more drivers out of the race, 3 drivers out of the race, for him to be able to be high enough to eliminate RJ Bishop from the playoffs. Green flag back in the air. Lap 50 goes on the board. Next time by, well actually in the next 2 times by, it will be 30 laps to go. Quentin again not able to get ahead of Destin Bolin to get scored in the tail end of the lead lap. Leaves them stacked up side by side. Second place on back. Charles Sanford going to make the pass on Chris Dallerton. Jose Mills going to follow by in 3rd. It's been a while since we've seen Jose Mills go to victory lane, looking to extend his lead at the top of the all-times win list. Mills has 10 career wins in the Duracell Cup Series, but so far here in Season 6, he's got a goose egg. He is the 5th highest running driver in the point standings, not in the playoffs. 21st in overall points. Only 1 top 5 on the year as well. That's maybe the most shocking statistic of all. The 0 in the win column. We've got a lot of drivers this year that we would have expected to have had a win by now that don't. A couple of them up here inside the top 5, like Dylan Young and Jessica Shelton. But that 1 top 5 on the year, that's amazing. A couple other drivers also only have 1 top 5 on the year. James Qualls only 1 top 5, and we were talking about him as potentially pointing his way into the playoffs through consistency. Rob Evans only has 1 top 5 on the season. Cole Deaver only has 1 top 5 on the year, and he was a multi-time winner last season. And Carson Gum, the former champion, former Daytona 500 winner, only 1 top 5 this year. We're watching the battle for second as Destin Bolin continues to show the way. Another face that has popped up here into the top 10 in the second half of this race. Anthony McCurry in the 61. Obviously, we know the tough break here tonight. Mazda will not be advancing into the round of 8 to win a championship, but they'll double their chances next year. It was announced that Fortnite Squad Racing, we almost had a wreck right there with Snyder and Fogelman, but they are going to be kind of splitting their stable. 2 Chevrolets and 2 Mazdas. Anthony McCurry will be moving over to a Mazda next year along with Nick Gunther. Turkish Airlines still will be on board, his number 61. Dylan Poteet and Carson Gum will be the Chevy side of the Fortnite Squad Racing stable. Well, these two I thought were about to bring out caution number 5, Reggie Fogelman and Benjamin Snyder. In what's a battle now for 5th place. Give it to Fogelman. Dylan Young going to move by Snyder for 6th. 3 wide further back, Noah Hendrickson. trying to get Haas Racing their second straight victory here at Arizona Speedway. We haven't talked about his T-motor much. Where in the world is Matt Haas? Last time by, he was scored in 21st. See him way back there battling with Levi McIntyre. So Hendrickson right now carrying the Haas Racing banner. As these drivers are still trying to get around the slightly slower machine of Quentin Moore in the 89. He's now holding up last week's winner. Two-time winner this season, and the only driver that we knew for absolute certainty was going to be advancing to the round of 8, Michael Norman. Batson Fogelman, two-car tandeming around Chris Dollerton for third and fourth. Jessica Shelton didn't see it, but she took the lead away this past lap from Destin Bolin, so she is now out in front for the first time tonight. So trying to figure things out here as far as who's in, who's out. And again, I'm going to put out the disclaimer. I'm going to try my best to figure out who has advanced in, who has been eliminated out of the Elite 8 at the conclusion of this race. But just because I'm doing the calculations in my head does not mean they are 100% foolproof. Anything but. Be sure to stay tuned till the very end of this broadcast to see who is going to be advancing into the next round of the playoffs and who will be eliminated. I can guarantee you two of them, Nick Gunther and Ali Liera. Right now it's looking like Destin Boland's in good shape to advance. Keith Batson looks like he's in good shape to advance. I'm concerned about Quentin Moore being a lap down. Laura Chung, we haven't really seen a whole lot out of her tonight. She's been mired outside the top 20 pretty much all evening. Last time by, she was scored in 23rd. Mitchell Collins, we know, is off the pace after being involved in an early wreck. Right now being scored still in the lead lap, but back in 30th. So we're not certain yet about RJ Bishop and whether he still could be advancing into the playoffs or not. As of right now, I think the only two that we could say around that cut line that we could be pretty much advancing into the next round would be Keith Batson and Destin Bolin, who are both running right now up inside of your top three. Well, actually, your top five, as Shelton got, I don't know if she got loose or tight there. Definitely had to bail out of the throttle on that top side into turn one, stacked up Keith Batson and Benjamin Snyder, and Snyder will move on by for the runner-up spot. As of right now, looks like Charles Sanford is safe to advance. Right now, he is in the 7th position behind Ryan Butcher. Came into this race 21 points, good above the cut line. And trying to get by his S3 Motorsports teammate Jessica Shelton. Batson to the inside of Snyder. Al Batson, when he picked up his second win on the year, it was the first time in his career. He was a multi-time winner. And he might be able to pick up a third victory here, which would tie him with Destin Bolin for second most victories here in Season 6, only behind Nick Gunther. Keith Batson, actually, we talked about Michael Norman being a 6-time winner, tied for 4th on the overall wins list. Keith Batson is also a 6-time winner. So if he were to win, he would then move up to a tie for 3rd with Carson Gum and Ryan Butcher at 7 wins apiece. If you're kind of wondering who those other 6-time winners are in that tie with Batson and Norman, well, Jesse Turner, Ryan Brommer, and the driver making the move right there for 2nd place, Dylan Young, are the other 6-time winners. It's Young Motorsports 1-2 right now, with Destin out in front, Dylan in 2nd. The Fords have shown up again here tonight at Arizona, as they hold 4 of the top 5 positions. Then the Toyota of Ryan Butcher, the Chevrolets of Shelton and Sanford, and then more Fords with Hoer, Mills, and Dollerton completing the top 10. Dylan Poteet back there in the 11th spot, trying to reel in Chris Dollerton. Reggie Fogelman right now in 12th. And where is, well, there's the 88. Jack Dunnard is right now 18th. He was 1 point ahead of the cut line. He is not running ahead of Destin Bolin, but he is ahead of both Quentin Moore and Laura Chung, which is what he needs to stay above the cut line. So right now it looks like Jack might be in good shape. There's Laura Chung in the 77. Laura was 17 points behind RJ coming into this race, which means that RJ needs Laura to finish outside the top 25, and right now she crossed in 24th. Zachary Fitzwater right behind, and then you got a ways back to Cole Deaver, so Chung may be above the cut line right now. Question is, though, would she be eliminating RJ Bishop, or would she be eliminating Mitchell Collins? Slow cars. James Qualls, Rob Evans, the leaders have caught them. Dylan Young, the veteran experience, boxing in his teammate Destin Bolin. Look at the run there by Ryan Butcher. He's going to move into second place. Destin's going to drop from the lead back to at least fourth. Now he'll pull down right in front of Jessica Shelton, who now is going to maybe get boxed out by Keith Batson. Ooh, things getting wadded up here. Closing in on 10 to go, and oh boy, might get ourselves a late yellow if they're not careful getting around these slower machines. Looks like they're all going to make it through. At least this group is. Gives an opportunity for Anthony McCurry and Michael Norman to maybe catch back up to this lead pack of about 12 drivers. And Ryan Butcher got around Dylan Young. He goes back to the point. Snyder into second and Young back to third. Trying to call when we went back green. I think we were around 30 laps to go. I don't know what the fuel window is for these drivers. Were they able to make it the rest of the way, or will pit road play a factor in the latter stages of this race? We're not yet at 10 to go. Definitely the tires have worn down. We've seen that all night long, the longer a run goes on, but not sure what the fuel situation is for these respective drivers. All right, so we were talking about Laura Chung and the potential of eliminating RJ Bishop. What about Laura Chung and the potential of eliminating Mitchell Collins? There are 15 points separating those two drivers. Right now, Mitchell Collins is in 29th. Laura Chung is in 22nd. That's only 7 positions difference. So right now, Collins could be safe. And Collins is on the lead lap. Quentin Moore is not. So I believe Mitchell Collins right now is safe to advance. It is between RJ Bishop and Laura Chung, I do believe, for that final spot. Quentin Moore right now being a lap down. Currently in the 31st position. Looks like he will not advance. We know that Gunther and Ali Liero will not advance. Chung has not led a lap. RJ Bishop has not led a lap. Bishop's going nowhere. He's finishing dead last, 42nd. So he needs for Laura Chung to finish in 25th or worse. And Chung has picked up a couple more spots since we last checked in, up to 22nd. So Laura Chung right now is in position to advance. That would leave Bishop, Moore, Gunther, and Liera, the eliminatees, at the conclusion of this one if something does not change in these final 8.5 laps. Benjamin Snyder now to the top position, looking for his first career win. If Snyder ends up picking up this victory, that's going to leave us with only 3 drivers, 3 rookies that have not gone to victory lane yet this year. Noah Hendrickson, Samuel Ryder, and Reese Banks. And it's not outside the realm of the possibility that they might win before the conclusion of the season. I don't think I've ever seen a rookie class be as strong as the rookies have been here in Season 6. But again, I think that goes back to this being the first year of the next-gen car. Everybody was relearning. Everybody was going to school. You didn't have the veteran experience come into play that you've had in seasons past. So everybody started back at square one. If there was ever a season to break in as a rookie, this was the season. Benjamin Snyder is loving what he's seen in the rearview mirror because Ryan Butcher and Keith Batson can't sell things out. And we nearly had a caution right there. Charles Sanford was all up in the left rear quarter panel of Keith Batson. That's the second time Charles Sanford has been in a dire situation and has backed out of it. And again, Charles knows he's advancing into the playoffs. Keith Batson right now in good shape to advance into the playoffs. Don't want to finish the evening out on the end of a hook. Batson trying to close in on Ryan Butcher again for the runner-up spot. About 4 car lengths, now 3.5, now 3 off of Benjamin Snyder down the back straightaway. If those two can stay nose to tail, they'll get a big run here. But nope, Batson going to step out of line and try and move by into second place. Not going to be able to do it. Look at that top line actually there. Ryan Butcher able to hang on to second place. And while they were battling, they actually did close up on Benjamin Snyder for the race lead. Sanford now looking to the bottom of Batson going into 1. Will Hoer's back up in the mix. Will Hoer spent a good portion of the early race out in front, and now he's back up here when it counts. Could be 4 laps to go here next time by. Laura Chung dropped to 23rd. However, for Laura Chung, the furthest that I think she can finish would be 25th place, which means that would then be a tie between RJ Bishop and Laura Chung potentially for the final playoff spot. Then what happens? I think you'd have to go to the best finish of the round as to who would advance and who wouldn't. Certainly wouldn't go to this round because that'd be 25th for Laura Chung and 42nd for RJ Bishop. Butcher to the bottom. And easily going to take the lead from Benjamin Snyder. Set that pass up perfectly. I'm hearing some engines up ahead. We may have some lap traffic before all is said and done. 2.5 laps to go here at Arizona. Batson tried to get a run to the inside of Benjamin Snyder. Not going to be able to do it. And are we pitting? We are pitting. I wondered about this. Who stays out? It's the Dylan and Dylan show. Dylan Young and Dylan Poteet. I was wondering about this, if these drivers could make it on fuel or not. And there is your answer. McCrory was already on pit road. Is that Jose Mills? Yep, he was already on pit road. Do Dylan Young or Dylan Poteet try and win this thing on fuel? Both of them looking for their first wins on the season. Uh-oh, I just saw a big lift there out of Dylan Poteet. Is he pitting this time? Is Dylan Young pitting this time? Yes, they both are. Who's going to be the leader? Can these two maybe come back around? Can they top off, come back around, and maybe be leading coming back to the checkers? This is who we got to look at is the 78 of Ryan Butcher. I think he's the one right now that could potentially win this race with the 2 and the 31 coming to pit lane. Poteet's down and away. Dylan Young's down and away. Where's the 78? He's crossing the line. I think he's going to pass them. Dylan Young just now leaving. There goes the 78 on by. 78, I believe, just took the white flag. Ryan Butcher, who got eliminated the last time we had an elimination race back at Nashville Superspeedway. Looking for his second win on the season. And I believe coming across the line this time, I believe that's going to be the checkered flag. Ryan Butcher's going to win here tonight at Arizona. Waiting for the scoring update to make it official. And yes, checkered flag is out. They're showing Dylan Young at the top. And now it updates. Ryan Butcher is the winner. Just had to catch up with itself after that cycle of pit stops. Ryan Butcher is officially the winner of tonight's race. Second win on the season for him. And Toyota goes back-to-back here at Arizona Speedway. Got to be a bittersweet victory there for Ryan Butcher, because you consider if he had advanced into the round of 12, this victory would have put him tied for the number 1 seed with Michael Norman heading into the round of 8. But as I mentioned, when drivers get eliminated, they head into that next round just looking for a little redemption, looking to get as many checkered flags as they can before the conclusion of the season, and Ryan Butcher did just that. And it looks like in all of that, it's going to be a good day for Auto Junction Racing, because as we show you the finishing results, we were talking about Laura Chung mired down between 23rd to 25th in the running order. Look where she finished it out the race, 15th. And that's going to be enough for Laura Chung to advance into the next round of the playoffs. Michael Norman, we already know, was locked in. Kyle Matthews, he had a 31-point buffer. He just needed to finish up inside of the top 30. He got 27, so he's locked into the next round. Charles Sanford, he was 21 points to the good. He gets 4th, so he's into the next round. Michael Norman was already locked in with his victory last week at Lime Rock, and he gets a 5th place finish here tonight, so he's going to obviously advance. Keith Batson was only 1 point to the good, but he gets 8th, so he's advancing. Destin Bolin, where'd the 12 car finish? I don't see him up here. What happened to Destin? He finished 30th. Whoa, hang on a second. So Destin finished in 30th place. But he did also, did he lead the most laps? He did. He led 22. So he got a bonus point for a lap led and a bonus point for leading the most laps. He was 2 points ahead of Quentin Moore, so he's still ahead of Moore. Let's see, where did Mitchell Collins finish? 29th. Collins was 15 points ahead of Laura Chung. Collins might be in by 1 point. I think Destin is going to still be in. I think Laura Chung still eliminates RJ Bishop. I don't think anything changed. I think Collins still advances. I think that Bolin still advances. I think Bishop is eliminated. And Jack Donard finished 19th, so he definitely advances as well. It's going to be really, really close, I think, there with Chung, Bishop. Oh. Chung, Bishop, and Collins. I think it's going to be really close for that. But I believe Bishop is the one that's eliminated along with Quentin Moore, Nick Gunther, and Ali Liera. Not 100% certain, but I think that is the case. I think Bolin, his saving grace, whatever ended up happening to him there on that final pit stop, having the 2 bonus points for having led a lap and leading the most laps, I think that definitely saved him. Otherwise, if he didn't have the bonus point for most laps led, he could have been in a situation. There were a couple of drivers that were in close proximity. Ryan Butcher had 17 laps led, and Will Hoer had 16 laps led, so they could have very easily taken that bonus point away from him. So very fortunate there for the driver of the 12. I mentioned the fact that we already knew a couple of drivers were going to be eliminated with the DNFs here tonight. Ali Liera in 36th, and Nick Gunther, the 4-time winner this season, in 41st. And I believe that that 42nd place finish for RJ Bishop has taken him out of the playoffs as well. Tough break there, just a few weeks removed from the last elimination race where he won his way into the round of 12. Looks like he will be eliminated from the round of 8. But again, don't take my word for it. Wait until the official points have been accumulated and posted here at the end of the video. But congratulations to Ryan Butcher on the victory here tonight. 2nd win of the season for him. 3rd win of the season for Toyota. So far, it has been Auto Junction Racing carrying the banner for the limited number of Camrys that are fielded each week. Only 5 Camrys every time the green flag flies, and 3 victories for them here in 32 races. So very well done to them. Hope that you guys enjoyed today's race here from Arizona. There was a lot to follow, a lot to kind of keep track of. If you enjoyed it, though, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become a part of the crew today. We showed you your full finish results, and you are now looking at your point standings. Keep an eye of who is 8th and above, who is 9th and below, because 9th through 12th, they are the drivers that are not moving on to the next round of the playoffs. Next week, we are at Boston International Raceway to begin that round of 8. Should be a crazy one. It's Boston, it's Talladega, and Rockingham setting us up for that season finale at Michigan International Speedway. Glad you're a part of it and hope you continue the ride with us, as I've been Seth Cole and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.